The DC Students Construction Trades Foundation presents The Blueprint of a Vision, honoring John Mcmahon and the classes of 2022. Now, your host, Emil Robinson.
Good afternoon. My name is Emil Robinson, and I am happy to be hosting today's 16th annual Meet the Future Luncheon. At this time, I would like to invite Reverend Stephen Tucker to the podium for the invocation. And following Reverend Tucker, we will have Mark Drury, President of the DC Students Construction Trades Foundation, and then Mike Siegel, a founding board member.
This is a blessed day that we are experiencing. When we look at the things that are taking place around the world, even in this nation gathering, we are so thankful for all that He has done for this foundation and thankful for you today. How many glad to be alive today? Come on, say so. Come on, say so. Amen. Gracious God, we do thank you for this occasion. We thank you for everyone who is gathered here, every family represented. Thank you for our foundation. Thank you for our staff and leadership. Thank you for the purpose for which we have gathered today. We pray that you bless it, breathe on it, and make it a day that we will always remember. In Jesus' name we pray. Let us all say amen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Emil. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us today for this celebration of 18 years of the DC Student Construction Trades Foundation, promoting and sponsoring career and technical education in the construction trades and in construction management education in the District of Columbia. The Foundation's education and training mission is as strong now as it was when John Mcmahon brought construction industry leaders together to establish the foundation nearly 2 decades ago. Today we're here to honor John's legacy and recognize also the contributions of 2 integral team members, our program directors, Shelley, Kareem, and Beth Shenton, who have, I can't say enough about the wonderful work they've done over the past 18 years, running these programs, running the apprenticeship schools, teaching high school students, doing internships. The lives they've changed has been just immeasurable. We're also here to recognize leaders stepping up. Chris Pappas of Intelligent Masonry is joining us on the board. ACAD lead instructor Dennis Chestnut is now going to be the training site supervisor for the ACAD building projects. Certified instructor Sharon Dadas will provide leadership and management for ACAD BUILDS Internships and our career exploration programs. Program coordinator and certified instructor Emil Robinson is program coordinator with our NCCER and our DC Apprenticeship Academy programs. At this time, I'd like all our board members and executive council members to stand and be recognized. We couldn't do all this important work without all these leaders and without all the people that support us, and without the students who put in those hard hours, the apprentices that put in those hard hours after working 8 hours a day. They do several hours of classroom work at night and continue their careers and move their way up to help us build these beautiful monuments we build all over the city and all over this area and all over the world. But thank you very much, and welcome, Michael Siegel.
So, my father and I have been part of this foundation since John came to us, 20 years ago. The idea that would benefit us all, the students, the industry, and the community. We didn't hesitate to say we are in when John said so. And he came to the part that the vision became a reality. Thank you. And let's take a look.
for just a few minutes, let's go down memory lane. At this stage of our life, we look back more than we look forward. So
That's true.
so let's look back a little bit.
Yes.
You know, this whole concept of a school and all, it's not a new one. You tried that before, and it didn't work. You all were trying to buy a school and all. What made you think that this time it would work?
I think we had went about this a little differently than the past, in that we went around and collected a very diverse group: developers, general contractors, subcontractors, people from the faith-based community, and that was a team that I think really made us successful. And they were the founding members. And not when I asked and threw the concept out and said we got to do something about vocational training in DC, everyone instantly got it and said, "Oh, I'm in." So that we had for the contractor group, we had principals there, and that was an important ingredient to it all. So that's what we assembled.
So what did John do? He contacted several close friends: Jerry Siegel from Siegel Construction, Bill Dean from MC Dean, and Steve Donahoe from Donahoe Companies and Construction Company. And the four of them collaborated to establish the foundation.
I think the ribbon cutting at Cardozo was a significant moment.
Yes.
Were there others for you that stand out in terms of where we are and what we've done?
Well, Cardozo was great.
And Mr. Ballard got us over there. Yeah.
And Mr. Ballard was an old-time principal that understood the old times and went and he said, "I don't care what downtown says.
Yes.
We're doing this."
Yep.
And I'll forever be grateful to Reggie Ballard for getting the ball over the final thing and getting us in the school.
As a principal of Cardozo at that time, I constantly we constantly graduated classes here, class after class, and there were a small number of kids that would go on to college. But the vast majority of our kids were not moving on to higher education. And I felt that we weren't serving our kids fully by just trying to prepare our kids to go into college. A number of our kids wanted to go into the trades.
We did show them. We showed them when we decided we were going to build a house.
Yes.
That was another moment. Mm-hmm. How'd you feel about that?
I think that was a grand moment. I think that was we found that the students that worked on that were so enthusiastic and so proud of what they had accomplished. And that was exactly what we wanted to do, exactly what we wanted to do.
When I had children, I'll bring my children by and say, "Look what your dad did. I helped build this."
So that was probably the best single event thing that we have done, and as far as showing the future. And another moment that really struck me is fantastic. When we were at IDEA, we built a mini house.
That's right. Would it embarrass you if I said how many of those young people who went on to college were able to do so because you stepped in and helped in many ways in tuition and transportation and all that?
Yes.
What? Does that embarrass you to say that?
It does. Well, it's just me.
And now, because John McMahon has been such an inspiration to so many people, please join us for a special musical tribute as we welcome welcome Dick Smith, former Washington football player and jazz coordinator at Westminster Church here in Southwest DC.
I dedicate this song to graduates, and also I dedicate this song to people who have been through something and how they can be so grateful when somebody reach out to give you access and help you through. It's just wonderful. It's gonna be all right. It can be cold when you're in the shadow. Never have sunlight on your face. You're content watching folks shine. Feel like you're always a step behind. Seem like they are the ones with all the glory. But you are one with all the strength. A face without a name. But you don't have to complain. Did you ever know you can be a hero? Anything anybody else can be. You can fly higher than an eagle when you got the wind beneath your wings. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's gonna be hard sometime to make it. Yes, it will. But with your skills, you can make it through. They will stand behind you tall. They will never let you fall. Oh no. You ever know you can be a hero? Anything anybody else can be. You can fly higher than an eagle when you got the wind beneath your wings. Wind beneath your wings, when you got a wind beneath your wings. Hope you got the wind.
Please bear with me, I'm not quite Carol Randolph, who is one of our fearless leaders. So I'm really trying to step into her shoes. I'm going backwards for a minute. I want to recognize some guests that we have here. And if you're here standing up, wave your hand. If you're sitting down, stand up so that we can recognize you. We have First District Captain, I think this is, I hope I'm saying her name right, Tatiana Savoy. ANC Commissioner, Navy Yard Capitol Riverfront, Edward Daniels. ANC Commissioner, the Wharf, Andy Litsky. ANC Commissioner Jefferson, Marjorie Lightman. We have Greg Doman, Principal, Jefferson Middle School Academy. And Michelle Mays, who is the Director of Strategy and Logistics from Jefferson Middle School Academy. I also want Our signature event sponsor is MC Dean. Golden Hammer sponsors Clark Construction, Miller and Long, the IDI Group Companies, the Tower Companies, T.W. Harry. The silver sauce sponsors Baker DC LLC, Boston Properties, Flippo Construction Inc., Fort Meyer Construction, Hoffman, Rupert Companies, Intelligent. Our brass nail sponsors are Angelou Construction, Calvert Masonry, Roseburg, Yokelson Fox and Beta LLP, Havtech, JCM, Meridian Construction Company, PCC Construction Components, Precision Wall Tech, Red Brick LMD, and Sandy Spring Builders. Can you give them all a hand, please? Thank you. At this time, we would be recognizing our guest speaker, Brigadier General Claire L. Adams-Ender was going to be our speaker today. Unfortunately, she tested positive for COVID a couple of days ago, so she is isolating. However, she did provide some brief remarks. So I'm going to try to give her words, you know, the oomph that she would give them. I don't know if I can do it, but I'll try. In keeping with today's theme, Blueprint of a Vision, General Adams-Ender provided the following remarks. It is with profound regret that I am unable to be with you today. I have spent a lot of my time trying to make sure that I didn't get the virus, and somehow it found me. My symptoms are mild, and I was immediately started on medication, and I am resting well. I was so looking forward to doing this tribute to John McMahon. I think I had a long conversation with him the last time I was there, and he told me about his vision and his subsequent work. He was proud of the work he had done. There are three qualities that were most evident in Mr. McMahon's work. The first quality is vision. Vision is the ability to see goals and objectives accomplished in your mind before they are actually accomplished. Mr. McMahon had a vision about the DC construction trades long before he committed his plans to paper. He turned the thoughts over in his head, then decided that they should be written. Mr. McMahon first had a vision. The second quality is a goal. Mr. McMahon had one main goal: to get the construction trades established in the District of Columbia. He had to accomplish many other goals along the way, and he never lost sight of his main goal to get the construction trades established in DC. He saw a need for the construction trades for those students who were not college-bound, yet needed a trade to supply them with a source of income and a livelihood. Mr. McMahon had a goal that he never lost sight of and was never distracted from accomplishing. Finally, Mr. McMahon possessed the quality of persistence. Persistence is the art of never giving up. He understood very well that he could be obstructed, detracted, and delayed from accomplishing his goal. But he could never be stopped from reaching his goal if he were persistent. Persistence means that one day you go home and get a good night's sleep because there's more to be done tomorrow. Persistence is the single most important quality listed in the lives of successful people. Persistence. With the qualities of vision, a goal, and persistence, we are here again today to celebrate the important work of John McMahon in getting the construction trades established. May we be forever grateful to him for caring enough to get this work done. Thank you, Mr. McMahon. I hope I did her words justice. I am proud to say that there are a number of women behind the scenes who helped to make John's vision a reality. I'm honored to be one of them, and here is what he had to say about his team. Let's take a look.
Where we are today is not just a team you put together, but there were some young women who came in and kind of took over in various ways. Emil and Shelley and Beth, and
Yes.
how fortunate we were to be able to find them. And
What I think I'm most proud of really is how we brought the women into this enterprise, and they were the doers. They were the things they were the ones that
you
put
had
things
ideas,
together.
but they made it happen.
Exactly right. They got the detail done. They got the hard work done, and they were dedicated to the cause. And because every one of them also wanted to give back to the city, also wanted to make this successful. It also realized we got to overcome the city blocking all this success.
John believed that we could dream big and make all of these programs a reality for students in the district. So we were able to put together a program that the DC Apprenticeship Council approved immediately, and we began to operate in Cardozo, later in IDEA, and now, of course, in online learning. We've served hundreds of apprentices over that period of time. So many of them have been able to go on and build their careers in the same companies, to continue to grow and develop, and to support their families, to be able to own homes in their communities. And it's wonderful to see the work that we're able to do with this adult population. I really look forward to seeing the next generation of foundation leaders keep this work going and growing, offering our high school interns and our registered apprentices new ways to train and grow. These years working with you, John, and with all of you have been the most rewarding of my career. And I can't imagine not having this as a part of my life and my story. And I thank you.
I have enjoyed seeing what the foundation has done. It's been a very, very important addition to the public schools in DC and the charter schools. And I want to see it continue. I hope that what we started 20 years ago will go on for many, many generations.
We've got engineers, we've got project managers, we've got architects, we've got paralegals, we've got police officers, we've got teachers, we've got playwrights that have come through the Academy of Construction and Design. A part of John's vision was simply to make sure that these students were successful. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, without ACAD, without John's vision, that some of our students would have been lost. So I am forever grateful. I'm a native Washingtonian. And so I am forever grateful to John for reaching out and solidifying the future of so many in DC. So when I see John, I see goodness. I see integrity. I see humility. I see humanity. And I just say, thank you for allowing me to be a part of it.
if we can get Ms. Kareem to stop crying, I would like to welcome Beth Shenton and Shelley Kareem, Shelley and Beth to come up.
Thank you for making us a hot mess before we had to come up here.
I think I bought waterproof mascara just for today.
I didn't even put it on. So we are a second act to General Enders, and she couldn't be here today. So when we announced that we would be leaving the foundation, and breaking up is really hard to do. So this is an amazing day, and we're so grateful to be here with all of you and celebrating you, John. We are not as amazing as speakers as she is, but we were asked to share some things that we learned. And so we were asked to reflect on those things for our time back with the foundation. And so here are a few of those thoughts that we wanted to share today.
Before I start, I want to say one thing. This is extra special for me today. Not only will this be my last Meet the Future in the director's position, it is extra special because my son is graduating from the Apprenticeship Academy. So it's double special for me. Just bear with me, I'm a big crybaby. You know, we all do that. They bring me tissues, so I got my tissues. Okay, so the things I've learned. When I was asked about that, one of the things that one of the first things was a quote that I kind of remember all the time, and it's the Maya Angelou quote, and I know you've all heard it, but this is the core of who I am. And it simply says, I've learned that people will forget what you say, people will forget what you do, but people will never, ever, ever forget how you made them feel. And this is Shelley, whether it's good or bad. So I always try really, really hard to make people feel good.
And I'm a yoga teacher, so I do too. I've learned that we only get what we believe we deserve. So believe and dream, work and live and love with your whole heart.
When I came here, I got a job, but I got sisters. I got sisters, and that's not very often that you find that you work with people who you truly, truly love. And that's what we've done over these years. We've grown to love each other. So the tears are real, okay? Okay, I know that we got to get a lot done. Okay, so my next thing that we say all the time, and it's simply, I'm going to adjust it a little bit. I've learned that you should speak what you seek until you see what you say. Speak what you seek until you see what you say. And that, in other words, whatever you want in life, continually say it, believe it, take action, and work hard until it's reality.
I've learned that failure is a part of life. Learn from it. Use those experiences to build your next success and to move onward.
I've learned that there are no failures, just lessons.
I've learned that we can do big things when we pull together. The rising tide truly does lift all boats.
And for me, lastly, I've learned that when there's no path or road or lane, you build your own. There will be times when you have to cross into someone else's lane to get the job done. But that's okay, as long as you do it with pure motives and to be sure that it's for the greater good.
I've learned that time is limited. Have the courage to follow your heart. Breathe in the joy in the everyday.
Almost 20 years, guys, almost 20 years.
So we'd like to invite Emil Robinson back to the podium for some of our first awards.
I hope that you guys can learn something from what we've learned.
At this time, Ms. Kareem and I are going to award some of our ACAD BUILDS interns with scholarships and gifts. I'm going to tell you who our ABI interns are, and I want you to stand up. We have a couple who are not here today, but we have Akbar Bilal, Kelly Bonilla, Katie Bonilla, Jalen Fadiami, Tatiana Jones, Jaking McClary, Edward Rogers, and William Rogers, and Taponi Williams. And if you think you're seeing double, you are. Twice. We have two sets of twins over here. Okay. Identical. Our first awards are the Marshall Janifer Award, and this is really special to the foundation. Mr. Janifer, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, was Shelley Kareem's right hand at Cardozo. He was her right hand, and he was a shoulder for the students to lean on. He was just Mr. Everything, and we miss him tremendously. But in his honor, his family has established a scholarship program. So we have two small, I won't even say two small awards, we have two awards, which are Visa gift cards. And the first one goes for $250, that's no small amount. The first one is awarded to Katie Bonilla. And Katie gets this award because she is so helpful, especially when we are online. If somebody can't get in, she sends them a message and tells them how to get into the Zoom and all those things. She is right on it always, so she's our big helper. And our second Janifer Award goes to Ms. Tatiana Jones. And Tatiana, I think, actually demonstrates one of Mr. Janifer's precepts, which was to be consistent and to be on time. And Tatiana is there every day, and she's always on time. And most of the time, she's the first one there. So
I just want to share something. She was in a car accident yesterday, and she called us from the emergency room to let us know that she wasn't coming to work. That's who this young lady is. So this is why she received this.
over here.
Unless you want me to hold it. I can keep it. Okay.
I could give a whole speech about the Norman Dreyfus Award. I believe it was at the first Meet the Future luncheon that Mr. Dreyfus joined us, and he was so impressed with what the foundation was doing, he decided he wanted to put his money where his mouth was. And he started the Norman Dreyfus Scholarship Fund, which has been going on now for 16 years, 15 years, somewhere in there. You don't know. He doesn't know, but he's still supporting it. So we have a lot to offer. We have a lot of thanks to offer you for your consistency and your devotion to the program. You have helped many, many students. And our first Norman Dreyfus Award goes to Kelly Bonilla, and it's $500.
Our second Dreyfus Award in the amount of $1,000 goes to Edward Rogers. Yay! Now you can go back. And the final Dreyfus Award in the amount of $2,000 goes to that other face, William Rogers. William's essay was so personal and so well written, and you knew that it was straight from his heart. And it was just that good. So. I wanted to get on the bus and ride with you. Thank you, William.
Thank you.
Woo.
So today, MC Dean is in the house on both sides, the apprentices and the young high school graduates. And I am just excited for the work that MC Dean is doing and has done. So this year, they will be signing 3 Phelps students. And I'm gonna be very honest with you. So I'm just getting this today. And I don't like to screw up people's names because I don't want you screwing up mine. So I'm gonna just ask them to stand, the 3 Phelps graduates. They all will be graduating in June. To Mr. Tapita, Tapata, Tapati. I'm not gonna try the first name. I'm not, because I would really botch it up. Kayla Williams, Philip Williams. Yay, all right. So immediately following the program, they will be doing a letter of intent with MC Dean over here to my left. So just stay, if you want to stay around and watch that photo op, that would be fantastic. But these young people are going to start a career in the industry that so many of us that are here today love. So I say we need to give them a round of applause, and we need to give MC Dean a round of applause for bringing those young folks into the fold. All right, thank you very much. And up next is Beth Shenton and Leslie Harris. Gentlemen to my left, it's your time to shine. We don't have any ladies this year, right? Because I just said gentlemen. It's all gentlemen. All right. Time for you all to shine.
Thank you, Shelley. Ms. Leslie Harris is joining us. So all of you that we're honoring today for graduation, it's a huge day for you. We started our registered apprenticeship program in 2007 in the district. We've been operating at full steam, even during COVID. I'm especially proud this year because we have more graduates than we've ever had, even during COVID. And to have been able to do everything that all of you have done is a huge accomplishment. These young men parked in people's driveways to take their test. They went to different locations to do their hands-on testing. And they showed a huge amount of determination and resilience in ensuring that they could meet all of the goals to graduate. And we're so very proud of all of you. So we're going to start today with our carpentry apprentices, and we are thrilled to have our carpentry instructor, Mr. Kevin Hughes. Mr. Hughes, can we invite you up to the stage, please? Kevin teaches at Phelps. He's back on their high school staff, and he teaches in our apprenticeship program, and he's been a huge asset. So I'm going to hand the mic over to you to call out your carpentry apprentices right here. Here we go, son.
Okay. First of all, I want to give all of you guys congratulations. I mean, we've been through a lot. I mean, I went through 4 years with you guys every day, and y'all have been consistent, and I'm very, very, very proud of you. First of all, I would like to call up my first person, Mr. Garrison Pinda. Congratulations, sir. I'm very proud of you. Keep up the good work.
It's right here. You want to step over and get three people in the photograph?
Congratulations. Appreciate it. Congratulations. And next, I would like to congratulate another young man that's made a giant step, Mr. Anthony Clifford. My next award is going to Mr. Anthony Johnson. Congratulations. And last but not least, Mr. William Lucas. How you doing? Congratulations. Thank you very much.
All righty, good afternoon. So I'd like to say today that I am very proud because I began with these students 4 years ago, and I'm ending with these students. So I'm very proud of each and every one of you. Some of you I've had to fuss at, most of you not. But I'm very proud that you all have taken this step, you've made it this far, and it's nothing but the sky is the limit. Okay, so we're going to start with MC Dean.
Yep, and may I ask Mr. Alvin Pardo, their instructor, to please come up for the photographs? Mr. Pardo.
Okay. So my first person is Kyrie Harding. Next is Abu Jola. Next is Joseph Cooch.
How you doing, man?
Okay, next is Rondell Patton.
That's fast.
Okay, David Rivas.
Gracias, gracias.
Okay, Chimneys. I'm not going to even try the last name. Ukebu. We call him Chin.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Jose Portillo. Okay. Derek Hallman. And last but not least, Donovan Watts.
I'm not. Oh, okay. Ready?
We got another proud mama in the back.
This is that's Miss Sharonda's son. Derek is Miss Kareem's son. So we have proud mamas. Okay.
So we want to pass the program over to Mr. Pardo to announce our graduates who have been dual enrolled with us through APM Vocational Institute, which is Alvin's longtime program serving the Hispanic population. I spoke at one of his first graduations when I was still with MC Dean back in 2001. It's been a long time. Mr. Pardo and I have known each other a really long time. So we invite you to come up and call out these graduates, and it does continue on the next page.
Thanks so much for everything. Thank you guys for being here. So as she said, my name is Alvin Pardo. I've been having a program that started in 2000. And basically, I was trying to break that bridge between the language barrier. So we started little by little until now we have graduates that begs me to take the exam in English. They were afraid in English, now they want to test it in English. So it is my honor and privilege to call each one of you guys. I really appreciate your confidence in me. It's been 4 years, even before the COVID, and here we are. So you guys deserve all this. So let me start with the first one. Mr. Solomon Adani, and I know he's here. The second one, Mr. Jose Luis Martinez Campos. The third one, Melvin Miranda. I know he's here. Mr. Alex Gonzalez. I have Mr. Irvin Martinez. Irvin. And the next person, he's not here today, but his brother is here. He was away, away from his country for 8 years until he finally got the paperwork done for his family to be here in the U.S. So he's right now in Uganda, waiting, to be here. But his brother's here, so that's Abiel. I can't pronounce his last name, that's for sure. Abiel.
Thanks for your time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Got a couple more. Edgar Martinez? I'm sorry, Edgar Gomez.
This gentleman brought a committee of people, so watch out your ears, right? Enoch Argueta Martinez. I told you. Kristen Pesantes Paiva. Mr. Raul Tais Pinto. Next one, Mr. Ariel Rodriguez. Get it faster. Mr. Jose Medrano. And last but not least, I got Oscar Obiero, one of the hardest work students. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I have to say, this was my first year, right? This was my first year with your students?
Yeah.
And they were all great. They were all on time, polite, and I appreciate that from you all.
Well, and let me say how much I appreciate Leslie Harris. Leslie has been running this program. That entails working with these students in places all over the city, online, making sure they show up for testing sessions, making sure they show up for class, getting out weekly reports to employers. And it's huge, and I thank her so much. I also want to recognize another teacher who is here, who teaches our levels 1 and 2, Miss Valerie Ladson. If you would please stand. Valerie. Valerie is joining in the move to South Carolina. She's also going to be moving this year, and we're going to miss you. I just want to say to this whole team how thankful I am for all of them. That includes Shelley Kareem, who opened our testing site at Fauntleroy Center, and Emil Robinson, who joined in online and assisting with all of that work. I have a tiny something for you just after, and we'll do that afterwards, but thank you all so very much.
I almost forgot I had to come back. Okay. We now have Reverend Stephen Tucker, who's going to come back up. He has a special presentation for Ms. Kareem and Ms. Shenton.
I started out saying that this is a great day. This is a great day. And if you think so, give God some praise. I wrote a book called In the Wilderness, and it chronicled 23 years of ministry on a street called Park Road. in Northwest DC, which at the time was the #1 drug trafficking block in the District of Columbia. Consequently, we set up a program called Jobs Partnership, where we tried to get people employed. We ended up in a contract with the city to help employ ex-offenders returning home from incarceration. One of the companies that accompanied me down to North Carolina, where the prison was located, was Miller & Long. John Mcmahon dispatched, I believe it's Auto Gear, to go with me into the prison to give people about to be released some hope for employment when they got out. I mentioned that because all of what we are doing today had what I call its genesis on Park Road. If I'm not mistaken, there was a job fair that we had on Park Road. And Miller & Long was one of the companies who participated in that job fair. If I'm not mistaken, a sister by the name of Shelley Kareem was employed in the basement of our church in that job fair. The book In the Wilderness talks about good things that can come out of the wilderness. Those who ever read the Bible remember that Jesus spent 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, being tempted by the devil. Those who read the Bible know that Moses spent a lot of his latter years in the wilderness, and he came out of the wilderness to deliver the people of Israel from bondage. I mentioned that because John Mcmahon came into the wilderness, and this program generated out of the wilderness. And look what we're celebrating today. I am honored today to honor two people who have really been the legs of this program. And when I say the legs, I mean the people who go into the wilderness, communicate with those in the wilderness, and bring people out of the wilderness. I want Shelley, Kareem, and Beth Moore to come forward. They've been giving out awards today to everybody. I think it's time to give them an award. They are retiring only from the foundation. I can't see them ever retiring from anything. So we want to honor them today, and our church thinks so much of these two people. You know, people pray for you that you don't even know pray for you. And so we want to give an honor to both of them. And it says to Beth Moore, in appreciation for your dedicated service to the Academy, DC Students Construction Trades Foundation presented this 18th day of May 2022. I want to present this to you on behalf of the foundation and thank you for your life of service to our community. To Shelley Kareem, in appreciation for your devoted service to the Academy, DC Students Construction Trades Foundation, presented this 18th day of May, 2022. I would like John McMahon and Mark Drury to come share this photo op with me.
Okay, good.
I know I got. I'm know they're gonna get me off of here real quick, but I need to just say this. John rolled the dice on me. They didn't know. I'd never done this. The organization had never been. They trusted me, and I will be forever grateful. I did get a job at the church because Carol Randolph, one of the co-founders, saw something in me that at the time, I'm not so sure I saw in myself because it was a dark time for me. I was in the wilderness. I thank God. It's said that you got a couple of people that's tied to your destiny. Right now, the last 18 years, the destiny that God has for my life has started to unfold, to be fulfilled. I still got work to do in South Carolina, y'all. I love y'all so much. I love y'all. You hear I say y'all, that's South Carolina. And Valerie Lasson is gonna be my neighbor.
Yes, I'm back. Thank you, Reverend Tucker. And I thank you all for joining us. This has been a really special program for a lot of different reasons. And I'm not going to cry because I don't do that. But this is going to be very, very hard for me to say goodbye to these two ladies. So long for now. Because I think Beth said earlier that, or Shelley, one of them, they run together to me. Okay. But I want to just say that I am forever grateful for meeting these ladies and for them becoming a huge part of my life and a huge part of my family. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm coming to South Carolina and Lake Anna, Virginia. And at this time, I would like to bring both, I think Mr. Dreyfus wanted to say something, is that right? Okay, you and Mr. McMahon, please come on up to the podium.
You can see the quality of the people that surrounded us. Just look at all the young people that are going out in the world today to a successful career. And for the rest of their lives, they'll be doing the great things that tradespeople do, which they're absolutely the most important thing. They're the people that do things. And we have been so blessed with the staff we've collected. Not in my wildest imagination that we've gotten this far. But these ladies and all the supporters and everything, we never batted an eye going forward in spite of all the problems. And at this point, we have a special thing for Miss Kareem. Come on up. Yeah. Norman and I are both funding a scholarship in your name so we can never forget you. Never, ever forget you. Yeah.
John and I have funded $20,000 in Shelley's name. There is another motivation, I must admit. She has to come up every year and award the scholarship to the individuals who won it. You have.
Oh my goodness. This is amazing. This is amazing. I mean, I'm never lost for words. Today I am. My son said, yep. This is an amazing thing. It blesses my heart. I have given a lot of time. This was not just a part of my life. This has been my life. I brought my husband into it, my children into it. My son would come down to the school and help with classes. When you got me, you got the whole family. And it is just an amazing thing. I'm just so grateful to the two of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will be back next year then, huh?
Love you, miss you.
Oh, I'm an hour and 5 minutes away, gate to gate from DWI to Greenville, so I'll be seeing you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Thank you, Norman. This is just... Okay, did the mascara hold up?
Yes, it did.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you all so very much. I'm just grateful. Thank you.
This is one of the most unforgettable people you can ever imagine. A real warrior about everything, full of love and staunch. We're going to make it happen. And I've met a lot of people along the way, but there's no better person than Shelley Kareem.
I pride myself on never crying. All right. Gotta put my glasses back on. Okay, I want to first thank you. And Reverend Tucker's coming back.
I would be crucified if I didn't do this. I almost forgot. Shelley and Beth, would you come up again? On behalf of our church, the New Commandment Baptist Church, we want to give, yes. This is for you, and this is for you.
If I knew all this was coming, I probably would have left sooner. But you know, we don't do this for the accolades. We don't. We don't do it for the gifts. We've done it because this is what we have had to do with our lives. This is what we're supposed to be doing. And we're walking in our gifts and talents. So know that the work doesn't stop. It does not stop. I'm going to Lake Anna before I leave here on Juneteenth to give me a day of woosah. Come on down to Lake Anna.
Anybody else want to come up again? Just making sure. Just checking. Thank you, everybody, for coming. But now we have some final thoughts on the legacy of John McMahon. Let's take a look.
He has this intuitive sense of what's right, and he has this truthfulness about him that is clear, that is so visibly obvious. And so let me connect those two words: intuitiveness and truthfulness. And if there's any man that I have ever met that embodies those characteristics, it's John McMahon.
What would you like your legacy to be? Have you thought about that?
I haven't thought about it, and because I get such joy out of the good things that happen in the moment. And you know, whatever it is, but my goal is just to see success person by person by person, that and that's just gives me such satisfaction that we're able to do that. The legacy will just have to be whatever it is.
You have invested in us.
And you have taught us to invest in ourselves.
You have prepared us for the world.
Has the world been prepared for us?
Have the full screen of that.